Good.
Well, leading the ladies out is Lavina Milicevic. And Milicevic was the silver medalist in this discipline in the Barcelona Olympic Games. So that's one of the best form guides. And in the qualification for this, Shannon Miller was the best quite clearly, 9.762. Then Pisquin and Milicevic was third. Pisquin was second. And an interesting Arsoyova of Cuba was in fourth position. There you have the qualifiers on your screens, the top 8. They're all drawn out of a hat. They're not in any particular order. Of course, from the all-around competition, we have the gold and silver medalist Shannon Miller and Gina Gogian. Well, a change there. Jusovatina has been put into the competition, one of the reserves.
We have from Romania, Lavina Milicevic.
And we get an introduction from the compere at the National Exhibition Centre. Milicevic. Jelena Pisquin.
Representing the Czech Republic and Slovakia, Klara Kudlikova.
Kudlikova, 18-year-old from Astrana. Lilia Podkopayeva.
From Cuba,
Arasoy Hova,
and coming
the
in
Cuban.
as reserve for Shannon Miller, would you please welcome from Uzbekistan, Oksana Shuzovitina.
Well, Shuzovitina is the replacement for Shannon Miller, and that really is very disappointing indeed. Gina Gogian and the Kerry Strug. Well, this is news to us, a great shame. No, Shannon Miller.
The women will compete first, and then the men on the pommel horse. But the men are from Hungary, Karoly Shupkalgai.
Shupkalgai for Hungary, as we look at the presentation for the second individual final, the men's pommel horse, Andreas Becker. The man who's already picked up silver in the floor, Vitaly Sherbo. 24 years of age from Los Angeles, Chris Voller, 1991 American champion.
From the People's Republic of
Fuca of Romania. Pai Gilsu. Valeri Lukin, 26-year-old. Wang Liping is the 8th and final finalist, but we will start with the women's vault, and then we will move straight over to the second final for the men, the pommel horse. Well, we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can with news on why Shannon Miller is not competing in this first of the 4 individual finals for the women. And Hayley, disappointing for the crowd more than anything else.
Yes, disappointing for the crowd. She performed exceptionally well in the all-around on vault. That's really what decided the result. 2 perfect vaults from Shannon Miller. It will be interesting to know why she's not competing, whether it's a tactical move or whether she has an injury in training.
Well, that really does throw the competition wide open. Gina Gogian, silver medalist in the all-around competition, and Milicevic is, of course, gold medalist from Barcelona. Silver medalist, as I said earlier. She was the joint gold medalist in Spain. She was the joint gold medalist there with Henrietta Onodi. Unfortunately, Henrietta also not competing here, taking a well-deserved and earned rest after the Games of Barcelona. So Milicevic, now with Miller out, Hayley will surely start this vault final as the favourite.
She's starting as favourite, but again, with it being a final, anything can happen. We do have a slightly different competition here on the vault. The girls have to perform 2 vaults, and they're 2 vaults out of different groups. And to give you an idea of those different groups, we have the backwards somersaulting groups, we have the forward somersaulting groups, can be performed with twists, and we have the round-off vaults. That is the cartwheel onto the springboard and backflip onto the horse. So the Yuchenko vaults. We have 3 different groups to choose from, and the girls must do a vault from 1 out of one group, 1 out of the other group, and then their scores are averaged. This is where it really finds the good vaulters out, because it's difficult to perform 2 good vaults out of 2 different groups.
each and every one of the gymnasts is given 2 or 3 warm-up jumps. And Milicevic hits the mat very hard there, but seems nice and confident. Looking to add a World Championship gold to the Olympic gold.
It's going to be not just good form here, but certainly good landings we're looking for.
The first of the 8 finalists. Individual vault final from the World Championships in Birmingham. The Olympic champion gets the competition underway. Lavina Milicevic, 14 years of age. 4th in the individual World Championships in Paris, but went on to claim gold in Barcelona, her first vault.
There we have the full twisting Yurchenko in the straight position. Not a particularly good landing, slight step forwards and slight loss of balance. There we see it in slow motion. You can see a break in body form and a loss of balance. Slightly losing her legs as she thrusts from the horse. Maybe a couple of tenths deduction there.
Milicevic, who was 3rd in the qualification. Of course, no Shannon Miller, which is really very disappointing. So Milicevic prepares for her second vault, 9.700 scored. She qualified with a 9.737, so she'll look to improve on the second vault.
Her first vault, a 9.8 tariff. Will she go for a higher tariff? She's gone for the handspring front somersault with half turn, done in the pike position. She has gone for the higher tariff, that vault being marked at 9.9. There we see it. Good legs in flight. Slightly loses her legs as she comes out of the flight phase. Slight bend of the knees and one slight falter in landing. Here we see good flight, good thrust, a little bit untidy on landing.
Well, Milicevic will look to do the same as Neil Thomas, who was the first competitor in the men's floor final, and put down a score which no one was the better bar the last, 9.737. The Olympic champion of Romania sets the pace for the other top 7 finalists. Elena Piskun for Belarusia, just 15 years of age. Piskun was ahead of Milicevic in qualification.
She's gone for the 10 tariff vault. Perfect landing. That was the double twisting Yurchenko.
Well, she looks very nervous indeed, but that was a very good start. Good height and thrust off the horse.
There we have the first twist, the second twist, and well spotted. Good legs, legs together all the way through. Slightly off course. As we can see from that shot, she's slightly over to the left-hand side. Possible deduction there of 0.1, anything up to 0.3 deduction, 3/10 for deviation on landing.
9.7, the first score, and how about that, 9.837. So, bar a disaster on this second vault. Pisquin will take the lead from the Olympic champion, and that will be the first upset of this women's vault final.
She's gone for the same second vault of Milosevic, handspring front in the pike shape with a half turn. 9.9 tariff. Here we see it. Handspring onto the horse. Nice legs. But that step forwards on landing. Good height. Again, we see from that angle slight deviation on landing. 1/10 deduction and 1/10 deduction for her step forwards.
A little heavy in the landing. She waits very carefully, and she's done enough. 9.687, but carried it off thanks to that 9.837 on the first vault. And the leaderboard change as Pisquin goes into first position. 9.762. There is the Olympic champion, who already, early days in this women's final, finds herself in second. Belarusia and Pisquin lead. Kurilkova, Czechoslovakia, first vault.
Interesting vault. Not a good landing. She went for quite a difficult vault there. Here we see it in slow motion. We have cartwheel, a half turn in flight, and the Arabian front off. So that's a cartwheel onto the board, a half twist onto the horse, with the front somersault off. But 2 or 3 steps in landing, difficult vault. Again, half turn onto the horse, 1.5 somersaults off.
.837 is the best first vault score we've seen so far. Kurilkova, 18-year-old from Ostrana, 9.587. So that puts her into third position of the first round. Severely penalised for taking 2 steps forward on the landing of her first vault. She really does need an excellent second round. Take it away from Pisquin, leading for Belarusia.
Oh, handspring front, not a good landing. Landing on a straight leg there. Lacking in flight. As a handspring front in the tuck shape. Only going for the 9.7 tariff in her second vault.
Kurilkova, who was the 8th last qualifier for the final, so she's happy just to be competing in this, her first major World Championship final.
Here we see losing her legs in flight, knees apart deduction for that. Good distance, but not an awful lot of height, low in flight, hence the poor landing.
9.512. Kurilkova goes into third position. So the 1 and 2 unchanged. Pisquin leads for Belarusia. Milicevic is in second position for Romania. Lilia Podkopaeva. Well, a disaster there for Podkopaeva. looks to be hurt, but Hayley completely mistiming the vault. Complete lack of concentration, almost a blank out.
Yeah, complete mistake there. I'm not exactly sure what happened myself. Here we see it in slow motion. The handspring, oh, she slides, completely missed the hands on top of the horse. No vault. Here, the hands slip off the front of the horse. And when you've got momentum like that, you certainly can't stop.
Well, that's a great shame for Podkopayeva. Sixth position in the qualification. Well, this is what gymnastics is all about. Very artistic, supple, but real gritty performers. She has to go back and try it all over again. Competition surely over for Podkopayeva. This is a matter of pride, possibly regaining the confidence.
She's very, very talented gymnast, and that was one big mistake. There we saw the handspring front and the pike shape with half turn. Very sad for her. She was one of the most popular gymnasts in the qualifying rounds, particularly with the crowd. A little bit reminiscent of Olga Korbek. Very, very unique in her work.
What a glare this young lady gave to that horse when she walked away and said, "Why did you do that to me on the first vault?" Much better on the second. Just a little step sideways on the landing there. But that really is a wonderful second vault after that disaster from the first. And Hayley, possibly that's the best way to get back, is to go right to the end of that vault and try the whole thing again as soon as possible.
Certainly, if you're not injured, you get up there and you do it again, because otherwise you get mental blocks and you've got problems. She did extremely well there, showing her strength of character.
Podkopayeva will certainly not change the leaderboard, but she's putting on a brave face. What a gritty and young, tough performer. And there is Pizquin, first to commiserate Podkopayeva. Pizquin just on the left of your screens there. Currently leads. Lisovic is second. Kudilkova is third for Czechoslovakia. What a brave face. And there is the current leader, and the leaderboard will not change. And with no Shannon Miller, for which we have no explanation as yet in this vault final, could be another gold for Belarusia. Cuban, Yova still to come. So watch out. Number 294, Gina Gosian of Romania, surely the biggest threat. Some deep thoughts there for Lilia Podkopayeva. Guarantee that this young 15-year-old will be back. Well, there is Shannon Miller, the all-around gold medalist who has chosen not to compete, possibly through an injury, possibly resting for the other finals. Well, the lady on the left of your screen, Podkopayeva, you are awaiting the score of. And next to her, Pizquin. Well, Podkopayeva representing the Ukraine now, and Pizquin, Belarusia. But of course, they spent many years of their lives together training, and still the best of friends.
Good to see the gymnasts still sticking together there, because after all, they're all in the same sport, and the Soviet girls, or the once Soviet girls, are all still very friendly, as you mentioned.
Yova prepares as the next finalist, 17-year-old from Cuba. Again, another delay from the judges. As our technical expert here, Hayley Price, has pointed out to us throughout this competition, there is a new point scoring system now for gymnastics. It was decided that possibly one too many 9.9s and 10s were being scored in Barcelona. So the degree of difficulty is made even harder once again. So by the time we reach the 98 Olympics in Atlanta, we'll most likely be scoring those 9.9s and 10 again, Hayley.
That's right. Between now and then, they will be progressing up to the 10s again, perfect 10 scores.
Our apologies for the delay. This is live action here on Eurosport, uninterrupted coverage throughout the whole afternoon.
I think what may be the problem here is the first vault. Whether they mark it or not, or it's giving them a problem. They have to mark it. She's touched the horse, she's touched the springboard. What do they give her? There was certainly nothing wrong with the second vault. It's causing them problems. And this poor girl is having to wait an awful long time. She must be extremely nervous.
Well, Jova of Cuba is in her first ever world-class final. And that is very difficult. Podkopayeva, she seems to find the whole thing quite humorous, really. She knows that she's not going to be within a chance of a medal. She's putting on a brave face.
Don't take that as gospel as yet. We need to hear official confirmation of that. It's good fun here.
Well, definitely confusion with regards to the point score. And what we found a little interesting is that there was no score for that first vault. Possibly Podkopayeva starting too early. Well, there's no indication. There is the name at the top, Podkopayeva. The confusion is, as Hayley Price has quite rightly pointed out, what score to award for that first jump.
It certainly brought a smile to her face. She is finding the whole thing quite funny, and she certainly caused the judges a problem.
Well, Hayley, here's a turnout. It looks like they are going to make Lilia Podkopayeva take another jump, and this could really open up the competition. Well, the youngster from the Ukraine.
Over the first vault, whether to score that or not, and they didn't see the second vault. So this classed as her second vault.
Well, you hear it from the announcer there. As Pizguin watches on carefully, the judges were debating what score to give for the first vault, and so they didn't see her second vault. 8.225, and Podkopayeva, having waited at least 5 minutes, goes for her second vault.
This is certainly going to cause a lot of uproar with other gymnasts. I'm pleased for her because she's one of my favourites, but that's why she was smiling. She gets a second chance. Shouldn't have happened, but good luck to her. And there we see the full twisting Yurchenko in the tuck position.
Well, smiles and applause from the current leader, Yelena Pizguin. Well, this final, the first final of two this afternoon for the ladies, the final two apparatus coming tomorrow, really full of controversy and surprise. And the third vault there for Lilia Podkopayeva.
In fact, not the vault she was supposed to do, I believe. I think that should have been a full twist in the straight position. And she popped the legs, so there's going to be a big deduction.
Well, hardly surprising there for the youngster, just 14 years of age, who's had to wait over 6 minutes. No opportunity to warm up or prepare. Well, once again, Podkopayeva finds herself waiting alongside teammate. There we have it, 8.893, 9.562 for that second round vault. Fourth position. So the 1, 2 and 3. Pizguin leads with 9.762. Lisovic is second. Kudilkova is third. And Podkopayeva is now in fourth position. And there will be a little bit of controversy and words between coaches after this final, Hayley.
Yes, I believe so. That's the first time anything like that has ever happened in the championships of this standard.
And of course, let's not forget Rasoy Jova of Cuba, her first vault.
Whoops, handspring front in the tuck shape with a half turn, lacking in flight, lacking in thrust off the horse, and a poor landing. We have a 0.3 deduction there. Both hands down on the mat. She's not happy with that vault.
The most difficult of preparations for Jova.
Handspring, half turn, and loses it on landing. A little bit underpowered off the top of the horse there. Handspring. Doesn't get the thrust from the shoulders.
So we await the score for that first vault. Let's hope she doesn't take her second one too soon. Otherwise she'll find herself being returned for a third vault. But difficult preparation. Jova of Cuba, just 17 years of age, who waited for at least 3 or 4 minutes only to be told to go and sit down and watch a third vault of Podkopayeva. But Jova scores 8.925, and if a little better score than that, will go into fourth position. It will certainly not affect the medal positions, 1, 2 and 3. And there's a little smile, very nice indeed, from Elena Pizkin. Second vault for Jova of Cuba.
That's the Yurchenko vault in the straight shape with a half turn. Good height and good flight on that vault. Cartwheel onto the board, showing good height, but a large step forwards on landing. Very difficult to land out of half twists.
Well, Jova, fourth in the qualification. You're lucky to hold on to that position. But good to see the Cubans coming through in these World Championships. Of course, Portundo, who was 10th in the all-around competition, she will compete in the second asymmetric bars final. 9.343. She goes into fourth position. Oksana Chusovitina. Now, Chusovitina is the reserve and the replacement for Shannon Miller, all-around gold medalist, choosing not to take part in this vault final. Chusovitina looking to take the lead away from the Belarusian Pizkin. 9.762 aggregate leading score.
Again, we see the handspring front with a half turn in the pike shape. .9 tariff. Lacking a little bit in flight. And a 1/10 deduction for that landing. A lot of the girls choosing to do this vault, which is now quite a high tariff. There we see it again. Not one of the better handspring pike fronts we've seen.
Again, the cameras find Pizkin at 9.750. It's a good start for Chusovitina. She can repeat that. Good enough to go into first position. The second vault. So, this could be for a gold medal.
first of the Sukahara vaults we've seen here today. That was the full twisting straight Sukahara.
Well, let's not forget, if you go back to the World Championships of 1991 in Indianapolis.
Good landing.
Chusovitina there was a silver medalist. So she's certainly got the experience. She's been in this position before. And by grace of the gods, or certainly by the grace of Shannon Miller, she is given the opportunity as the first reserve to get into this final. Has she done enough? It seems to be enough to take first position.
That vault marked as 9.8.
9.718. Well, I'm sorry, Hayley, to interrupt. I'm wrong again. Third position for Chusovitina. Gina Gojian of Romania, 15 years of age, silver medalist in the all-around competition. Gojian certainly has the ability to steal the lead away from Pisquin. Number 2 of the 8 finalists, still leading.
There we see a well-executed full twisting Yurchenko. Good height, good flight. Here we see a fast approach into the cartwheel. Very good leg form. And spotted that landing. There we see, from that angle, she's right down the centre of the mat, no deviation on landing. That's going to be a good score.
9.750, so she's on target to take that first position. Just one other competitor after Gojian, Kerry Strug, but this second vault, the same point score, will put Gojian into gold medal position.
That's the handspring pike front somersault, no twists involved. Not a good landing, she won't be pleased with that. I'm not sure whether the knee actually touched the mat or whether it was close to the mat. Fast approach. Oh, that's where it all went wrong. Knee down on the floor. If you watch carefully, the hands only just make the horse. Hands right down the front of the horse. She did well to get that far. Here we go, first flight. Not a good angle to see the hands, but if they show again, maybe you'll spot the hands.
Gina Gojian, well, she's done enough on the first, but it's the second vault that's questionable, and it's not enough. 9.687. She has gone into a fourth position. So the leaderboard, Pisquin is now in still in first position, I should say. Lavina Milicevic is in second. She's waited patiently, and she'll have to wait just a little more for Kerry Strug of the United States of America. 15 years of age, one of America's youngest ever champions, looking to make amends for no Shannon Miller in this women's vault final.
There we see the 1.5 twisting straight Yurchenko. Again, not a good landing. Kerry, a very powerful gymnast on this piece of apparatus. One twist and another half twist. Loses it on landing. Big step to the right. There's going to be a few tenths off for that. One twist. Losing the legs as well. Slight bend of the knees in second flight.
Strug on the USA prepares for her second vault. 9.775, so she's been awarded a good first point score there. Now, the second one, she can repeat that point score once again. Would be enough to put the American into gold medal position. There is Steve Nuno, very anxious, really almost willing. Kerri Strug on for this second vault. Once again, the last finalist has the possibility to take the gold to the USA.
Handspring, top front somersault. I'm not sure that's going to be enough to take the gold. The first vault was marked out of a 10 tariff. The second vault, only a 9.7. Playing safe here on the second vault with just the straight forward handspring in the tuck position.
Once again, on the second vault, a little heavy in the landing as they usher the lady gymnasts out before we've seen the score of Kerri Strug, but this will be the confirmation, I believe, on your screens. It looks to be that Pisquin has done enough to claim the gold in the women's vault. Has this lady done enough to break into the silver or bronze medal position? Milicevic is second and Kudilkova is third. She's not done it at all. Fifth position, 9.662 for Kerri Strug of the United States of America, which means gold has gone to Belarusia. Yelena Pisquin, the 15-year-old, has claimed her first international and world championship medal, 9.762. Milicevic claims yet another silver, and Chusovitina the bronze, just one place less than 2 years ago in Indianapolis. Gogian is in fourth position, Strug is fifth. Kudilkova is in sixth position, a good and creditable result for the Cuban. Jova in seventh.
From Germany, competitor number 54.